y'all, it's Saturday night. You and some friends are meeting up for dinner and checking out some jazz entertainment. You're enjoying the evening. You're still ordering drinks. All of a sudden, they say, yo, y'all have to go. Y'all taking way too long. That actually happened to a group of black folks eating at a restaurant called DoveCote in downtown Orlando. The manager, Kyle Tazioli, called the cops on a party of five to have them removed. Another patron left a review on Google and said they were told the cops were called because the black folks refused to pay their $600 bill, which actually had been paid. Yeah, straight up. Now, pull a video up, y'all. I need to hear the audio.
I'm just letting you know, it is what it is. We can't really do once they want to because it's private property, but...
Guys, I don't understand.
Completely understand, but to let you know that we haven't done anything other than sit here, enjoy our meal, pay whatever is due,
You're good.
and just have a good evening.
I got you. I don't blame you.
He stopped our drinks from coming over.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I'm watching it.
Okay.
They said that they canceled the drinks, so you don't have to pay for any of that, but they canceled the order, so there's nothing more, like, the thing that y'all are owed that's outstanding. They said they canceled.
Okay.
I mean, if anything, what I would do, if I were you guys, I would bring it higher to him. Just call on Monday, or when it's tomorrow, it's probably Sunday, he might not have a manager. Call on Monday and go higher than him. That's what I would do, because they want you trespass right now, and it's better to honestly leave before it's on paper, then you can't ever come back. Don't know if you ever would.
We'll never come back.
But you get what I'm saying. But I would call and ask for like a manager.
And I get it. Y'all do
Go ahead and trespass
make any sense?
Well, trespass me, because I don't want to come back, but I want to have that documentation of what they've done.
I'll see if they want to do it.
Everybody else just enjoying the meal? Does that make any sense?
But either way, we can
I'm
do
going to go ahead and
case
trespass
number, and
me,
then if you
because
guys
I want to have it on
we
documentation,
can get
because I will
police
take this a little bit further than what we're dealing with right here.
Well, even
I mean,
if we don't
everybody
get
else don't have to be.
But even if we don't get it on paper, I'll give you the case number. And if you guys want to get this pulled, it's public record.
Yeah.
So that instead of getting it on paper and all that, because then that goes into like city records and stuff.
Going higher is his dad.
You what?
Going higher is his dad.
I'll take it. I mean, I have to deal with everybody.
No. My thing is that I'm in good with the mayor's office. Everything else, there's a lot of volunteer stuff that I do. He doesn't understand the position that I have and what he's done. I would definitely bring this up very quickly.
So whatever footage you have,
Course of action.
Right.
That's your best way to go about it.
And I always tell people
He didn't
too.
even try to come talk to us. He said, if you don't leave him, call the cops. And again, that is weaponized. Again, come on, in this day and age, it truly is weaponized. The cops.
Honestly, that's really good. Have you been recording like since he...
All right, folks, joining us right now is Leon Gantt and Stephanie Tolbert. Both of them were two of those folks kicked out. Glad to have both of you on the show. First off, Leon and Stephanie, so how many of y'all were actually at the restaurant?
There were 5 of us, Roland. Leon and his wife, Heather, and Kevin Ballinger and his wife, Kendra, and then myself. And I made this reservation about a month ago on Open Table, and I did it because this group, Take 5, was going to be there, and that's how I found the venue. And nowhere on the Open Table site, nowhere on the restaurant site was there any notification or documentation of a time limit on how long we could dine. And so we were never told that when the hostess took us to our table, when the waiter took our order, we were never given any kind of timeline. So this was just a surprise.
So they claim there was a time limit.
Roland, we were never given any type of timeline.
No, I'm saying this, I'm just trying to understand. Are they claiming that there's a time limit for each table?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So have you seen that was it on the door? Was it on a stand at check-in? Was it on the menu? So was it posted anywhere that there was a so-called time limit?
No, sir. No time limit. Not posted, not told to us.
Gotcha. How long were y'all there?
For the time where they first started to come and try to usher us out, maybe an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Hour, 15 minutes, hour and a half.
Okay. So this restaurant y'all were at, they had live entertainment?
Yes, sir.
So
Nice.
typically, I mean, I've been to a lot of places where they actually have live entertainment. And when they do, you're like there for a while. You're like 2.5, 3 hours because of live entertainment.
Right.
This, I am perplexed. Now, we did reach out to the owner, and we sent them an email. Carol, the owner is Rob. That's who this is? Okay, so he said, Ms. Gantt, can you please provide me with the name and phone numbers of the guests who were part of this group from Saturday night? The two gentlemen in the video in particular, I would like to call them personally to understand what happened and have a cordial, polite conversation to discuss their concerns. Thank you for your consideration. So that's what he sent to us. Had y'all heard from him?
Not at all.
Not at all.
What communication have y'all had with, has anyone contacted the owner?
No. The only contact we had was with the owner's son, and he was the one who led the charge in getting us escorted out by the police.
So were y'all actually escorted out?
Well, I can tell you this, Roland. The police were very cordial. They were very nice. They even said to us that we will walk out first so that it doesn't seem like we are escorting you out. However, because this is a private organization, we had to leave. But they were very nice. They said that we will walk out first so it doesn't seem like we are actually escorting you out.
I mean, again, and let me be real. Look. I know of some restaurants that are extremely busy, where they have reservations, and they flip those tables. And I know some places, like I say, that are highly successful restaurants that actually do this. But what's crazy to me is for a manager to say this, and you literally have it nowhere posted anywhere, and it seems as if you just sort of made it up. And the other thing is this here. There are date stamps on receipts. When those waiters put orders in, there's a time stamp on it. So y'all are able to show from the moment an order was placed and to when you get your receipt, how long you were there.
Yes.
What's your plan going forward?
I can tell you this. First of all, it's an honor being on your show. So thank you very much for covering this. What I have done, I reached out to some of the contacts that I have here in Orlando, and they're giving me a list of attorneys that I'm going to contact. I also have some connections into the mayor's office, and I know of one very good friend who is in charge of the discrimination department for Orlando. I've already sent her an email. I'm sure she's going to get back to me tonight. But for me, the end result is I would like a formal apology, number one. I would like our money returned. And then, because I have my mom here, and I was talking to my mom about, again, she grew up in Alabama and Jim Crow, and explaining this to her. And she was like, you know what, they really just tried to take your dignity. So what is the price of your dignity? And really, there is no price on that. But I truly want to make it painful for them. For, again, you're talking about 5 professionals, 4 of them Black, successful, and just that humiliation, embarrassment. And later we found out that manager's son went around and told everybody that we were being escorted out because we couldn't pay our bill. So
wow.
Yeah.
It was just very humiliating, Roland. I mean, at the end of the day, when we walked out to wait for the valet for the car, there was another family that had been approached by the event coordinator that they needed to leave as well. And we didn't get them on camera, but So this isn't something that was just isolated to us. There were some other Black families that were impacted, and they were celebrating their dad, the husband's birthday. It was just no excuse.
Again, we deal with these stories all the time. And unfortunately, this is what I always say, it is the reality of what it means to be Black in America. Keep us apprised of this case and what happens next. And our Carol, my producer, will be sure to forward y'all Rob's email and phone number, the owner, so y'all can have that conversation.
Awesome. Roland, thank you very much. I appreciate the time.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you so very much. You know, Renita, this is, I mean, we do these stories all the time. And it's just, and this is what people don't understand. It's hard being Black in this country, and you just trying to go enjoy a meal and some damn jazz, and you still got to deal with some BS.
Absolutely. The point you're making is a point that everybody should see from this, which is that Black people in society always have to be on guard. You can't even just go out to dinner and enjoy jazz music because you run the risk of being put out of a restaurant because you are Black. This also makes the point of why Black media is so important. I'm glad you're covering this story because I have not seen this covered by any other news outlet. And if it were not for this show, I think a lot of people would not be even aware that this had happened. And you heard the two, the folks who you were just interviewing, they said that another Black family was put out. So this is like a pattern. I think kudos to the police. They handled the situation exactly the way that they should have. They did not escalate. They understood that, you know, they should not have been called out for this. And they tried to keep things very fair, giving them the opportunity to make sure that they were not even embarrassed by this incident. And so I think that, you know, the point you made earlier about with there being live music, when you have live music, that encourages people to sort of hang around, and that turns your restaurant into a little bit of a hangout place. And so nothing about this story really makes any sense as to why they were asked to leave, because typically restaurants that have a time limit of how long you can stay, they tell you that up front when you make the reservation. They tell you that when you sit down. And as you heard from the guests, they said that they were not informed of any of that, and we know why they were asked to leave.
I'm a Congo.
This is going to escalate for many reasons, but one of the things that I'm thinking, because it's Florida and what's going on in the country, like the brother said to the cops, in this day and age, this is what you're doing. This is, you know, Ron DeSantis stand, right? And people are going to take advantage of this to add to their propaganda machine. They're going to say, oh, we're pro-police, we're pro, you know, they're going to take this to a level that it doesn't need to go to because they have nothing else to stand on. And that's why it's really important that we are covering this, because they're going to need our support. That media machine, those politicians down there, I'm assuming that the owners of this restaurant are kind of well connected with these types of people to feel like they can get away with something like this. So yeah, I applaud the police, but I also applaud that group of 5 people in keeping their calm in situations like that, because like you said, being Black every day in America, we deal with so much, and sometimes we just had it, and we know what the consequences can be, but it's just too much. And so they kept their composure in that particular situation. I'm very happy that the right cops showed up. Cops with de-escalation training, kept their hands on their, vests the entire time, because all it could have taken, I think there were about 3 or 4, maybe 4 or 5 cops there, Roland, all it could have taken was one wrong cop, and we could have had a situation just like we were talking about in the Alabama story at the beginning of the show. And so I'm grateful on all of those fronts, but we shouldn't have to just be grateful for that.
You know what, Julian, there's some people, I see the comments, they're like, well, why we always be the calm one? But see, this is one of those situations why you sit there and you say, you know what, we're going to be real calm because y'all ass is going to be cutting a check.
You know, I have a notoriously bad temper. And
no, really?
Yeah, really. And so I was talking with my therapist actually, it was about a year ago, because something occurred on my campus and I kept my cool. And because she said, when you go off on people, you become the story. When you walk away, they become the story. And actually, one of my colleagues asked me at a brunch if I ordered the fried chicken. And I was about that far from going off. Instead, I was just like, do you know that the provost's office ordered the food? Then the food comes back with, but I saw you eating fried chicken. So I just put my hand up and walked away. But then when I was coming to Congressional Black Caucus, it was right before caucus, I was on the red eye and I was crying. I mean, I wasn't crying, sobbing, but tears were rolling down my face. And I said to myself, girl, what's going on? Went and looked in the mirror and said, you mad because you didn't go off on that Maryland farm. So I ended up coming to my house in D.C. and writing that fool an 800-word memo that tore him about 5 new ones. I said, who are you? Buzzy Zoller, and I'm Tiger Woods. Dr. Meyer says, when people tell you who they are, believe them. Oh, I went on. It was vintage. That was on a Wednesday. He quit on Friday. In the middle, HR had called. Everybody had called. But I don't like being the calm one, but sometimes the calm one is much more effective. So this brother, those 2 that you interviewed, they were perfect. But these are Black professionals who are used to going out on the town, listening to some music and just kicking back. I've been to restaurants that have a time limit, but they tell you when you sit down, the next seating is at 8 o'clock, which is y'all got to be up out of here in a few, by 7:45. But they tell you, you don't just pull that like a rabbit out of a hat when you think there are too many Black people in the restaurant that day. I hope the brother, and I like the way he's going about it, very orderly. I hope that he sues. I hope that he gets, here's something ironic though, Roland, real quick. This very restaurant, they tried to shut them down a couple years ago, and they filed for discrimination with the city. They said they had been discriminated against when, for some reason, some zoning reason, they were trying to be shut down. So they know discrimination. They've experienced it, and they have chosen to practice it. And not only shame on them, but with anybody in Orlando, don't go there no more. This is a perfect boycott opportunity.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that, and this is one of those things, and let me remind people, y'all have heard me quote this on many occasions. If people would actually go back and read or listen to Dr. King's speech on April 3rd, 1968 at Mason Temple, Dr. King said point blank, we are not going to patronize places that do not respect us. And remember, Dr. King also said, remember he said, Jesse, what did you call it? We're going to redistribute the pain. So everybody who's listening, I want you to understand what that phrase, redistribute the pain. So for the Black folks who were sitting at that table, who had to suffer the indignity, when you hit them in their pocketbook, and then when you tell other Black folks, don't show up here, and then when you force them to apologize, you have now redistributed the pain. So to Juliana's point, we talk about lashing out. I get lashing out. I get when you're angry and you're ticked off and you want to jack somebody up. But there are also other times when you sit there and go, y'all don't worry about it, we good, because y'all ass is gonna be paying. Mm-hmm. See, it's real simple. I've dealt with crazy folks at airlines who acted a fool and who get smart with me, like the white woman in Las Vegas at the United Airlines counter, who said, oh, please call the CEO's office. I was like, oh, boo, trust me. I said, oh, boo, trust me. You will be hearing from the CEO's office when I get done with you. Now, I could have showed my ass, but I wanted her to understand, oh, no. You can keep typing on your little computer there, whatever little report you typing up. Trust me, there's going to be a problem on your end when I'm done. And so, absolutely. And so, what's the name of this restaurant again? Let me see. Hold up. What is it again?
DoveCote.
Something Cote.
I wrote it down. Yeah, DoveCote.
DoveCote. So DoveCote. So if you're in Orlando, I see no reason why you should drop by DoveCote until Rob. So here's what's his name? Rob, Bob. What's his name, Carol? Okay, so this is what I want here. So Rob, I know you watching. So Rob, you're gonna need to meet with the 5 of them, and y'all gonna have to come to an agreement. And then Rob, my advice, you're gonna need to come on this show to also explain to Black folks then how you gonna fix this problem, how you gonna deal with your son. Because frankly, Rob, if we break this down and the waitress and everybody else start talking, Your son should not be managing anywhere near that restaurant. And you need to be dealing with your son in some serious classes on how to actually be a manager. So I can't wait to see what happens next, and we'll be looking forward to it.